You are watching the Weekend Sports Kickoff right here on KNWT, Channel 8. And welcome into the Weekend Sports Kickoff. I'm Devin Albertson, joined by Trevor Mader, Kramer Sandstone, and Jacob Blair here as it's time for the Weekend Sports Kickoff. How's everybody doing today?
It's Friday.
It's Super Bowl Friday. Super Bowl
Yes,
week.
it is.
Super Bowl week. There we go.
Yeah, I know.
It's been a pretty quiet Super Bowl week, actually. We'll get to more of the football stories coming up next. But first, we have some Bearcat Athletic news. First of all, games last night. I know Trevor was on the call along with Noah Cooper last night for us X106 as the women's team got another win. Back-to-back W's now as they took down Lincoln 61-60. And just a big win for the girls. It was a close game down the stretch. Northwest holding on by a point there. Made a late free throw to win that game and get a stop on defense. Tanya Meyer, 27 points, 13 rebounds. Jalen Haggard, 11 points, 5 assists. Also, Kaylani Mayava, she only had 3 points, but she had 9 rebounds and 4 blocks for them on the inside. They had a nice game. I know post-game interview was with Kylie Coleman, who had 9 points and 4 rebounds. What did you think of the game last night, Trevor?
It was a tight game all through. I think the largest lead of the game was 9, and it was kind of one of those where Northwest jumped out early, Lincoln got back, and then Northwest had a 9-point lead going into halftime. Lincoln came right back, had it within 1. Northwest again got it up to 7. Lincoln trimmed it to 5 and then went on a 7-0 run and found themselves up. Northwest was able to tie it back up, and then Tanya Meyer hit a free throw towards the end of the game to make it a 1-point lead, and then they ended up getting a foul, and I want to say it was Mallory McAndrews knocked down 2 to make it a 3-point game. So Lincoln has the ball with 10 seconds left and a chance for a 3-point play, and defensively Northwest just locked down, and the only look they could get was inside the lane for 2, and by that time there was like 2 seconds left, so there was nothing they could do. A good performance by the Bearcats. I feel like this is a team that, when you look at the lineup, and Noah and I talked about this last night, 4 of their 5 starters from last night's game were new faces this season. You have 2 freshmen and a couple of transfers when you look at it. And then you have Tanya Meyer, who's been the mainstay there. So this is a team that I felt like would get better as the season goes along, and we're kind of seeing it. Maybe it's a little bit later than we anticipated or would have wanted it to be, but this is a team I think has definitely gotten better towards the end of the season.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you talked about where there with the freshman with Jalen Haggard at point. Of course, McConkey starting at the 3 spot, and the transfer Mayava starting at center. They've got some more firepower in there a little bit there, and they're starting to play a little better now. That's always nice to see some young players develop as the year goes on. I know that's what Coach Shield wanted to see. And after some growing pains early, they're starting to hit their groove, and they're starting to beat teams like Lincoln they're supposed to beat. So that's nice to see.
And this team, it's ever since kind of when we got back from the semester break and got back in January, this team has been close to picking up wins against not only teams they should beat, but teams maybe they shouldn't beat. They've been close to beating. They played Central Missouri very close, and they finally seem to have got that first win, and now they know how to win and have an opportunity these next couple of games to continue to go on a little bit of a win streak here.
And it's good that they're actually like on a 2-game win streak now, because then they're under their belt. We're like, okay, yeah, let's ride this out, and we can, hopefully win out the rest of the season, which that'd be nice so they can make it into the tournament this coming year. But they just need to keep this momentum going and go forward on it.
Yeah, they got Lindenwood on Saturday. Myself and Jacob will be on the call for that one. Should be fun. 1:30 kickoff, tip-off for the girls. Then, of course, next week they'll have at Emporia on Wednesday, then at Washburn on Saturday. But before we get to the girls, we're going to shift over to the guys now as they took down Lincoln in a blowout, 76-43. Just kind of normal Northwest stuff. They close slightly for a little bit, and the Northwest defense just clamps down. They get hot from the outside, and all of a sudden the game is just over. And just the style of play they had, Justin Pitts, 20 points, 8 assists, and only 1 turnover, just another efficient night. He had 7 of 11 from the field, 4 of 7 from 3, made both his free throws. Endow had 18 points and 8 rebounds, a couple assists. He only had 18 points on 13 shots. And then, of course, also Ryan Hawkins off the bench, 13 points on 10 shots, and he also had 8 rebounds to boot. So just a nice game by the men there, just playing great defense and just taking out a team that's average.
Yeah, you watched the first minute or two of that game, and you weren't thinking it was going to be a blowout. First possession, Lincoln gets the tip, they go down, and they get a dunk. And normally when a team dunks to start the game, they're kind of making a statement. And you see that a lot. I've never seen a team dunk to start the game and not end up winning, and normally by a significant margin. Then Northwest goes down, misses a three, Lincoln gets it back, knocks down a three, and just like that, before you can even get in your seat, it's 5-0. So you're thinking, oh boy. Then they kind of settle down. The three ball was working for them exceptionally well, definitely in the first part of the game. Their first 5 field goal makes were 3-pointers. Pitts had 3, Welty had 1, and Endow had 1, and they went on a run there and was able to get the lead back up to 10. It kind of stayed there for the most part, and they opened it up towards the end of the first half. And from there, I mean, this is a team that normally, you don't want to say any league's comfortable, but normally when they get up by 10, 12, 14, you kind of feel it's pretty comfortable. Yeah, they just clamp down.
They suffocate you. Yeah. I mean, they have the best defense in Division II. It's almost like you see talking about the football team. They get a lead. If you get down by 10 or more points, you're not coming back. They're just going to suffocate you.
I mean, Lincoln came in averaging 78 points a game, and they scored 43 last night. Their top scorer, Tez Ivory, he was the MIAA Player of the Week last week. He'd averaged 27-5 against Kearney and might have been Lindenwood. The names are escaping me.
Maybe Hayes.
Or maybe
yeah,
it
it's
was.
Kearney Hayes usually do for a week. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he'd averaged 27-5 against those two, and he didn't score last night. He had 1 rebound, so they did a good job. And he got in foul trouble too, but they did a good job suffocating him and not letting him do anything.
Yeah. So that's just what Northwest does. Ready to see what they do versus Lindenwood on Saturday, and I know they always do these. I guess the regional rankings come out the 14th, so we're still over a week away from that, about a week and a half away from the regional rankings come out. But they have this thing called performance indicators, and there's a guy who does this and posts it every week. Northwest right now is number 1 in the region, followed by Southern Nazarene with only 1 loss this year, but from a weaker conference. 3 Northern Sun schools, then Washburn and Central Missouri, then another Northern Sun school. So right now, Northwest in line to host the regional again. That'd just be fun. Last year, when the regional was at Northwest, it was just a fun atmosphere all 3 days to see some good basketball being played at Bearcat Arena. Northwest really fit off that crowd onto route to a national championship.
Yeah, hopefully they can do it again this year. It's top 8 teams host this super regional, right? Or regional?
The way it is, they already have it knocked down to regions, and then they re-rank the regional teams in those. So 8 teams per region make it the top seed host, unless something else happens. Like sometimes for the girls' side, if Emporia gets the host, their gym gets used for the Kansas State basketball tournament, so it goes to the number 2 seed, which sometimes it's Pitt State or Fort Hays, or I think last year was Harding got the 2 seed, so they were the hosts. So, but Northwest will be the host if they get the 1 seed. So that should be interesting to see how that goes. And right now they play Southwest Minnesota State in the first round. If this was to hold true, and they have the regional championship game matchup last year for Northwest. So.
Isn't that crazy? Because what was Southwest Minnesota State last year? Were they the 3 seed in that region, or were they?
They were the 2.
I knew they were 2 or 3, and this year they could be the 8 seed.
Yeah,
I mean, talk about a little bit of a drop off there. So,
and they still have their little point guard Bruggeman back, so they're still a really talented team. There's the Northern Sun's pretty good top to bottom this year, so they've picked up a couple of losses here or there. So that's where they're at right now.
And you look at how this team plays at Bearcat Arena.
It's really stout.
We have 48 in a row. If you get a home regional, I mean, it's obviously nothing's automatic, but that's pretty good odds that you're going to end up finding yourself in Sioux Falls.
And not to look ahead, but you still got 2 games. You got Lindenwood and Emporia State, but then there's still that big matchup in Topeka next Saturday against Washburn.
Yeah.
That's probably going to be for the MIAA,
Yeah.
And if Northwest can win that game, probably lock them up the regional.
Yeah, I mean, that very easily could be what decides the conference championship.
And then, of course, as he said there with at Washburn, it's going to be a Saturday game, 3 o'clock, tip-off in Topeka next week from tomorrow. Then after that, you still have home games versus Pitt State on Thursday, then Missouri Southern on Saturday, who you lost to earlier this year on the road. So, of course, Pitt State, they have Kim Anderson, who's coach at Central Missouri. He's a good coach. So a couple of quality games coming up, and they have Lindenwood and Lincoln on the road to end the year. So before we got the MIAA tournament, which they've won back-to-back years now. So it's a team that I think they want to have their foot on the pedal in the last 7 games of the regular season and try to finish out the year 25-2. Right now they're 18-2, and just trying to get that high note in the regular season and host the regional. And as we talked about earlier this year, there hasn't been an undefeated team win Division II in over 20 years. So it's not like having a loss between your schedule is going to hurt you at all, because usually that means it builds character a little bit, and then you're ready to go for the postseason play.
And in basketball, it's so tough to go undefeated, and
Yes.
for a plethora of different reasons. For one, I think college basketball might be the one sport where home field advantage really does exist.
Home court, yeah.
Or home court advantage, yeah, I guess, really does exist. Look at Northwest's record on the road in the last couple of years, and look at it at home. The record, no matter what, is still really good.
Yeah.
But it's a lot better at home than it is on the road. So it all depends on matchups as well. And if a team can shoot the three ball particularly well against Northwest, then they normally have a strong recipe to beat them. So it is tough to go undefeated. And I thought maybe this team would finish with one loss. I didn't think they'd have two. But, I mean, the ultimate goal is to win a championship.
And so the past 2 weeks, this looks like a different basketball team.
Yeah.
Like they're actually are more involved and more like productive in the first half, because like at the beginning of the season, it was just like it was either 50-50 whether we were gonna like take the lead or not at the end of the half. And with these past 2 weeks, it's just a difference, and hopefully it keeps going like this. And even when we get to Washburn, like we just need to keep attacking and like keep scoring in the first half. And like if we win the first half, I feel like we're going to win the game.
And of
really
course,
does seem like that loss to Nebraska Kearney put a spark in this team.
Yes.
Reminded this team that you still have to show up and play every single game if you want to come away victorious.
And I think that first loss was kind of a relief, because you start out 15-0 or whatever they were, and you're okay. Now we can quit talking about going undefeated. And that second loss was like a punch in the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because you expect to get one loss. I mean, not that you expect it, but it's most likely going to happen. You get that second loss, definitely to a Kearney team that's kind of around average. This isn't the same Kearney team from last year.
yeah.
And that was kind of a wake-up call for them, maybe, of, okay, we can't just cruise into the tournament and go from there.
Yeah, and if you look at this team, they did play Washburn earlier this year in a non-conference game down in Kansas City in the Municipal Auditorium. Northwest came away with an 8-point win. It was a tough-fought game, though, and Endow played really well in that game. He had 19 points on 9 shots. He was ridiculous. He could also chipped in 7 rebounds, while Justin Pitts had 22 points and 9 assists. So this team can beat Washburn, but Washburn's a tough matchup, especially with that Brady Skeens guy inside, 15-10. Last time he played Northwest, he's just a force down low.
Was he the defensive player of the year last year?
Yeah, I think so. He's a force. He's a shot blocking fool. He didn't have any shot block versus Northwest, but he's a guy who definitely goes up there and at least contests him and makes it really difficult on the opposition. So we'll see what happens there with Northwest when they have to go to Topeka next weekend. But they got Lindenwood tomorrow. Should be an interesting game. Lindenwood's kind of an up and down. They just lost to Missouri Western by 12 last night, so not a great look for them, losing to a really bad Western team. But we'll see what happens there. Northwest going to get another shot at Washburn for the conference title. And Washburn, they kind of blew it a little bit. They lost a home game last weekend to Central Missouri that really hurt their chances to at least get a share of the conference title. They don't have to go to Warrensburg or to Maryville this year. Both those games will be at home with no rematch. They really kind of blew an opportunity there. If they blew the opportunity versus Northwest, that's a missed opportunity there to possibly win conference outright. The two toughest teams in the conference only at home. But as we wrap up the basketball talk, there's another sport that is starting tomorrow here at Northwest, and that's baseball. Baseball starts tomorrow at 1 o'clock down at Arkansas Fort Smith. It should be upper 40s, lower 50s there by around first pitch time down there in Arkansas. So still chilly, warmer than here.
Yeah, very warmer.
They're still pretty chilly down there in Arkansas for the first series of baseball, as they have a 3-game series with Arkansas Fort Smith Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And Kramer, you're a baseball guy. You're going to want to call out games when that comes around. Yep. They've picked to finish 9th in the conference this year. What do you expect out of the baseball team this year?
I expect them to be well over 500. They need to take this series against Arkansas like pretty serious. I mean, of course, it's about to be the first few weeks of the season. Just get the rust off, and I feel like they're gonna have a great season this year. Maybe still be the top 10, but I mean, if we fall out, we'll probably still be okay.
Yeah, because right now they finished tied 9th with Washburn, right behind Southwest Baptist, right in front of Northeastern State. So that's kind of where they're at in there. But they have some quality pitching coming back with Hypus, among others. So they should still be a pretty solid squad this year under Coach Lowe. So that's what's going on with the baseball team. We don't have a game at home until late February, so we still about 3 or 4 weeks away from that. So they'll be on the road for the next couple of weeks. Also, track and field, they're at the Some of them are at Husker Invitational. Others are at Ted Nelson Invitational. So they're kind of split up this weekend. So that's what the track's doing. That's really all we have because tennis hasn't quite started yet. Softball, they'll start next weekend. So a lot of good stuff happening
We
here.
should be getting some signing day news here in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, signing day. They're going to do something next Wednesday here. I know Bearcat Radio Network's going to be broadcasting that. But we'll tweet out some stuff, too. I know a couple of guys who have already signed, including LaTroy Harper down from Hamilton, Ryan Dewhurst from Rockport, among some other guys there as well. Have signed.
I know they have at least one kid from Iowa that committed way back in October.
It's not a real state.
No, it's a real state. It's just north of here. So, yeah, that's always – signing day is always one of my favorite things to kind of look at. So, I'm excited for that.
We'll be back next here on X106. And welcome back to the weekend sports kickoff. Devin, Trevor, Kramer, Jacob, Caleb, and Joe are over there. It's time for the Super Bowl. I'm really excited. The Patriots are back. Tell by my voice. See if you can tell by my voice. So excited.
Sound too
So excited.
enthusiastic.
So excited. So, what do you guys think about this game? I know Ryan can't be here because he's sick, but he was actually going to take the Eagles in this game, 27-23. Joe is taking the Patriots, 28-21, and Caleb is taking the Super Bowl commercials to win the game.
What's the score on the commercials?
I don't care.
That's actually pretty funny.
So that's what Caleb is picking for this game. We'll go to Jacob first. Jacob, what do you think of this game?
I have picked against Tom Brady enough. I'm not going to do it this time. That's really my only reason I'm picking the Patriots. I have them winning this game at 23-16. I just can't pick Nick Foles over Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. It's just the Patriots, no one wants them to win another Super Bowl, and they just seemed determined to make everyone mad and win another Super Bowl. And Tom Brady will not retire after doing that. He'll come back and win another one. And I'm done picking against Tom Brady and being wrong. So I'm going with the Patriots.
How about you, Kramer?
I'm going with the Eagles on this. I always pick against the Patriots, and I always lose. But it doesn't matter. I'm still going to go for the Eagles on this. And, I mean, I know I don't always trust Nick Foles. I mean, granted, his past 2 games, he looked amazing. And, I mean, I hope he rides this arrogance, even though he didn't play at all last week. And hopefully practices was good for him this guy coming for the Super Bowl. And if Nick Foles is on it, watch out. There's a run for their money for the Patriots.
All right.
I don't think Nick Foles will be totally off of it, but I don't think he'll be totally on it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I'm at with it is, again, and Tom Brady's really actually kind of lucked out in quarterbacks he's faced in the Super Bowl. You look at it, Kurt Warner, Hall of Famer. That's probably the best one. Jake Delhomme.
Stud.
Donovan McNabb.
Oh, yeah. Eli
Manning twice.
Lost both times.
Yeah, lost both times.
A game manager, Russell Wilson.
At the time, yeah.
And then Matt Ryan, who was league MVP that year. So really the only ones that really were petrifying that he's faced were Warner and Matt Ryan last year. Mm-hmm. I mean, really, when you look at it, because McNabb had good pieces around him, and the other 3 were...
Get T.O.
Yeah.
Who should be a Hall of Famer, which we'll get to in a minute.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. I'm going to go New England, 24-21, same score as the last time. I think we could see Philadelphia go into the locker room with a lead at halftime, and Bill Belichick will make those ever so famous Bill Belichick adjustments, and they'll find a way to win it. The key for New England, or for Philadelphia for me, is don't let Tom Brady climb the ladder. Make him go east and west, not north and south. If you let Tom Brady's not Aaron Rodgers. If you let Tom Brady step up in the pocket and make throws, he's going to kill you. But if you make him get uncomfortable, I mean, you can really make some hay there. So I don't know, but I like the Patriots in this one. I don't trust the Eagles.
And I didn't make a number pick, but I'm not going to because I'm just not that good with that numbers in football.
That's fair.
I think that's true.
I'm picking the Eagles to win this game by 1 point. Caleb Sturgis.
What's the final spread down to now?
4.
Is it?
Caleb Sturgis. I'm trusting the 5'9", 192-pound kicker out of Florida.
You need to always trust kickers.
Exactly.
Kickers are people too.
Adam Vinatieri is not in this game to save Tom Brady.
Not college kickers. They're not people.
Don't trust college kickers. They're awful. This is more of a hope pick. Last time I had a hope pick was last week when I picked K-State to beat Kansas. That didn't work out too well, so I'm hoping this one kind of balances out the power in my hope picks. I'm hoping the Eagles' defensive line just goes ham on the Patriots' O-line. Hopefully Gronk's not 100% back. I know he's going to play. I know he's not out of concussion protocol out yet.
I wonder what concussion protocol was like for Gronk.
A little less drinking.
Like, what questions? Like, Gronk, what's your favorite drink? Fireball, man. Like, okay, yep, nope, he's fine.
He's very fine.
He still knows his favorite drink. But, like, really, like, how do you put a guy like Rob Gronkowski through concussion protocol, who's actually, like, Gronkowski's actually kind of an intellectual person, believe it or not. He just acts like a doofus. But I just wonder that, like, I wanted to be the doctor that had to put Rob Gronkowski in concussion protocol.
Yeah, so I think he'll be back, and I think he'll be healthy. But there's something about this Eagles team. I've picked against them every round of the playoff.
So have I.
So I'm probably jinxing them right now.
Yep.
But I'm going to take them to win this game. I just think they have just enough to beat the Patriots here. You don't have to do it 4 out of 7 times like you do in NBA or baseball to win a championship. It's one game. It's one time. I think this is the one time they can use that Giants formula of getting a lot of pressure on Tom Brady with Fletcher Cox and that load of defensive line. They can just run at Tom Brady. I think the Eagles have just enough to pull off the upset here and get the win because their D-line is that good. And that's the reason they won their last 2 playoff games. And their roster is just more talented than New England's. And I know that's been the case in the last 2 Super Bowls. New England's won against Seattle and Atlanta where the other rosters were better. But you know what? I don't think New England should have won either one of those games. I think they got lucky in both those games. So I think their luck finally runs out here. Philadelphia wins. There's no tuck rule. And Philadelphia gets the win here. I'm sorry if it.
Oh, I think if there's a tuck rule, I think Philadelphia fans will refer to it as something totally different. Mm-hmm. But you go back to the Eagles. A lot of their key players in the Super Bowl are guys they went out in the offseason and got. Alshon Jeffrey, Torrey Smith, Timmy Jernigan, Patrick Robinson. I mean, they went out and basically bought a winner. And I mean, Nick Foles now has a chance to maybe land himself a second chance here.
Yep.
So who knows? I mean. I don't know if I buy into the Cinderella story with Nick Foles. I like Nick Foles a lot, and I'm rooting for the Eagles. But my brain is kind of telling me pick New England.
Yeah, that's right where I am. I'm rooting for the Eagles. I hope their defensive line can put pressure on Tom Brady. They can score, enough points. The one thing I'm worried about is for some reason, I don't know where this comes from. I just think that the Eagles are going to have to settle for a lot of field goals. They're going to move the ball down the field. And then the New England defense will tighten up in the red zone. They're going to have to settle for a lot of field goals.
Also, I'm an idiot. It's not Caleb Church. He got hurt. It's Jake Elliott.
Yeah, I knew that. I just didn't say anything.
I'm a moron.
and you have a pick 21-20. So, like, if they end up having to kick game-winning field goal to win 21-20, that's
why I changed it to a 1-point win.
So I
didn't say an actual score.
I saw earlier this week, CBS Sports they did like a Madden simulation of the game. And if the game ends up anything like the Madden simulation, it'll be one of the greatest Super Bowls ever. Because according to their simulation, the Patriots were up like 21-3 going into the fourth quarter.
Oh, wow.
Eagles come back, take the lead. They're up like 24-21. The Patriots then scored and went up like 28-24. Then New England scores and goes up 30-28. But then the extra point was blocked and returned back, so it was a tie.
Oh,
and then like it ends up like New England win like 36-30 in overtime on like a 70-yard touchdown to Danny Amendola or something like that.
Wow, that's
so if that's the Super Bowl, I'm totally fine with it.
If that's the Super Bowl, you'll have a bunch of people that say they're not going to watch it this year.
Yeah.
Come fourth quarter, they're going to turn it on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be
Hollywood script.
I want to see what those people are really going to watch.
Yeah. What are you watching instead of the Super Bowl?
Like, they're just saying that everyone's watching. Everyone on Sunday's watching the Super Bowl.
I'm not watching.
I'm not telling people. Chance that I may not. I don't know.
I'm not telling people what they should or should not watch. But like, don't be like, oh, I'm not watching. The NFL's rigged. And then you'll come into work Monday morning just like everybody else. But man, that was a really good game last night.
You're right.
Like, I thought
you're not wrong.
Like I thought you weren't watching. Like I love that. Like with the whole protest thing. When I tell people, I'm not watching the NFL, and then you come back in Monday, man, the Chiefs sure look like crap. It's like I thought you weren't watching.
Well, I like even better after like the Chiefs lose a game. Like I'm canceling my season holy tickets or whatever season tickets, and they're like the next year they're like I got my season tickets again. It's like you're a liar. Like I don't believe a word you say ever because you're just an idiot. Quit being emotional.
Yeah,
knock it off.
I've shut games off before being mad.
I don't. I endure the anger. I endure it.
Actually, I changed the Royals postseason game to SpongeBob at one point.
The Houston game?
The Houston game.
My friends tried to change it. I'm
changed it.
I'm
I
more of a
changed it
Cardinals
back.
fan. I'm like, change it back. You guys
No.
not remember last year.
I had to have-
I hate some of the fans that get if you're too close to the forest
Well-
to see through the trees, you almost take a step back. Like,
Well,
it's
when
fine.
when Carlos Correa hit that home run after Terrence Goller got called out on a bad caught stealing call, I was kind of like, man,
That's when we went to Family Feud.
I was like, I was like that close to winning the World Series last year. You're gonna get beat by the Astros in the first round. So I changed it to calm down. I changed it to SpongeBob, and I thought about it for a minute. And I was like, you know what?
And
I need to watch it. I need to watch it end, and then it didn't end. So I've done that before. I've turned games off because I'm mad. I think
I mean, I've done it before.
Yeah.
I've done it with the Cardinals and Rangers in the World Series when
That was a great
when
series.
Hamilton hit the home run. I turned the TV off.
That was a great
I
series.
did. I seriously did.
Thank you, David Freeze.
See, I wouldn't do it
Exactly.
like in that situation. Like if it's still a close game, but like at this point, like I thought the game was over. Like that's how bad it was. So I don't know. Yeah.
I think Caleb just put in our group chat he beat up a trash can during that game. I think he's talking about the Houston series. I think he's talking about that. Yeah, he is. He beat up a trash can that game. So why would you do that to Trevor? That's not nice.
For
Oh, I see what you did there.
everybody's got jokes.
Yeah, maybe
Everybody's a funny guy.
So let's recap here. So we have 2 Patriots and 2 Eagles in the set right here.
Yeah.
Let's go. Fly, Eagles, fly. Don't let me down.
Well, let me clarify.
I'm gonna get dropped on my
I'm more
head.
Tom Brady.
Yeah.
I'm
I
I'm
just-
Tom Brady.
I
I'm
really
more Tom,
can't pick.
I'm more
against
Tom Brady, Bill
again.
So you're doing what
Belichick.
I did in the AFC Championship game where I took
Okay.
Tom Brady and not
Did
Jacksonville.
you guys at least see what Bill Belichick said about what the difference?
Oh, that was great.
the-
Yeah,
the-
this one's in Minnesota.
The
Like that's
difference
the most,
between his other Super Bowls and this one, it's in Minnesota.
that's the most Bill Belichick thing ever. Like
He's a-
say what you want about
him,
the dude.
him and Greg Popovich.
I saw a
their
bit
stuff
of
is-
the
Did you catch?
awesome.
I was
him and
calling
the
game last night.
Parcell
The
thing.
2 Bills.
And there was a very end of it, and they're like, "We're going to the Jets locker room." They're like, "No, we're not." And both of them walked out instead of going to the Jets locker room. Like, they're like, "Success literally runs away from the Jets locker room."
Bill Belichick interviews are my favorite.
They're not my favorite.
He's the-
You know what's funny is like when they won the AFC Championship game to actually see the dude smile. It was like I don't know, like I didn't know how to feel because I've never seen that before.
Darth Sidious smiles
Yeah,
too. What's your
exactly.
point?
He's a Sith Lord.
Exactly.
I was like, wait, I was like, he knows emotion. He's human.
Speaking of emotion, we're going to come back after the break and talk about some emotional wide receivers who have a chance to get into the Hall of Fame this year.
You're talking about
Next.
Jimmy Smith, right?
Exactly. Next, here on the Weekend Sports Kickoff. And welcome back into the Weekend Sports Kickoff. I'm Devin Albertson, joined by Trevor Kramer and Jacob. We have Joe and Caleb producing the TV side of it. Catch us on Facebook Live. If you have any comments, definitely shoot them there. We'll see if we see them. We'll try to address them here. But now we're going to just take a piece off of Trevor's blog called Trevor's Take, 2018
Is that kind of like a
edition.
plugola. Are we allowed to do that?
Yeah, it's fine.
That's fine.
If you want to find it on there, you can. I mean, it's out there on the internet.
Yeah.
As you have your 2018 Pro Football Hall of Fame ballot. Unfortunately, you are not the voter this year. Maybe in the future.
That's the plan.
As you just kind of take it away on what you had here for your just missed out, and then who you would have voted for in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, so I'm a firm believer in you should always vote for the maximum when it comes to Hall of Fame because most of those guys, they're on the ballot for a reason. They're at least they have a case. So you can vote for upper 5 can be Hall of Famers, and then you have a senior candidate, 2 senior candidates, a contributor candidate. Senior candidates were Robert Brazil, not going to lie, that was before my time. I couldn't even really tell you who he is. Jerry Kramer, the great guard that played for the Packers, was the other senior candidate. The contributor was Bobby Beathard, the longtime Redskins general manager, also the grandfather of former Iowa quarterback C.J. Beathard. I had 3 that just missed the cut.
You voted for Bobby Beathard. He picked Ryan Leaf.
Well, only because he tried to trade Peyton Manning,
That's
and
fair.
they said no. So, I mean, let's be real. But he also built through like 3 Super Bowls with the Redskins.
That's fair.
So, yeah, I give him that. On strike shortened seasons. Anywho, my just missed a cut, the 3, Steve Hutchinson, a longtime, really, really good offensive tackle for the Seahawks. One guy that I think is maybe one of the most underrated wide receivers in NFL history, Isaac Bruce.
Tough wide receiver class for him to get in over.
Yes,
Yes.
And that's the thing. There's such a log jam. There's a lot of guys. Jimmy Smith from the Jaguars. There's another guy that had decent numbers through his career, but never got in. And this next one, I'm sure a lot of people would disagree with me. Brian Urlacher. I think Brian Urlacher is a Hall of Famer.
No, he is.
But to me, I I don't think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
No.
There's another guy on the ballot this year who's a little bit better.
Yes, yeah, no, just a little bit. And then I would vote for Kramer and Beathard both.
I'd vote for Kramer too.
Kevin Mawai, get to my modern era candidates.
I got it.
Yeah. Cool name, right?
Exactly.
Kevin Mawai, a longtime offensive lineman for the Titans, Seahawks, and Jets. It's hard to find statistics for centers. So, nowadays, I don't know what they're going to do in 10 or 12 years when they come to look at offensive linemen. Because it used to be you'd go off Pro Bowls back when the Pro Bowl kind of meant something. Now, everyone makes a Pro Bowl because guys cancel because their cousin's pet dog is in town.
But he's also a 7-time first-team All-Pro.
Yeah. So then, and one guy that I've always been a big fan of, John Lynch.
Yes.
A hard-hitting safety. His statistics don't necessarily stick out, but he was a part of that Bucs defense that was one of the greatest of all time.
And how many safeties are in the Hall of Fame?
I'd have to go back and look. I know there's not a ton. But also on my ballots, one guy that is kind of a controversial guy, Ray Lewis. And there's some people that don't feel that Ray Lewis should be in the Hall of Fame based on some off-the-field issues.
Yeah.
I personally, to me, that was off the field. This is the on-the-field Hall of Fame. And then Randy Moss, who was a freak. I mean, let's be real. If Randy Moss would have had Jerry Rice's work ethic, Randy Moss would have been the greatest receiver of all time. Hands down.
That's true.
Even if he would have, T.O.'s work ethic, which is my next Hall of Famer, Terrell Owens. Terrell Owens was a hard worker. He just wasn't a good teammate. And he's kind of paid for that. And I'm sorry, that's stupid.
He made Jeff Garcia look good.
Yes.
Yeah.
That takes talent.
Yeah.
I mean, he took Donovan McNabb to the Super Bowl. I know the team blew up after that, but he was a big reason they made it to the Super Bowl. Him and Tony Romo blew up in Dallas, but they were really good together.
You look at the game.
He was productive everywhere he went.
Yes.
You look at the game he had in the Super Bowl. He had 9 catches for 122 yards and
Broke his legs
on a broken leg.
Yeah.
Basically, that wasn't completely healed. They basically told him you shouldn't play, and he was like, "This is a Super Bowl. How many chances do you get to play in a Super Bowl?" So, what he did, I think, overrides whatever off the field issues they were. And once again, to me, this is not the person Hall of Fame or the good citizen Hall of Fame. This is the Pro Football Hall of Fame. What they did on the field should be what matters.
Exactly, and that's the case for almost every single Hall of Fame, though.
That's what, yeah.
Exactly, and it honestly should just be that.
I mean, we talked about last week with Kurt Schilling. I mean, I think Kurt Schilling's a Hall of Famer.
Mm-hmm.
But there's people that, due to his
far
over in the corner right political stances, would go, Kurt Schilling's not a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
And to me, that's stupid. Like, what's it matter if he's far right, far left, what he did off the field? I mean, I get that to an extent, maybe things would be a PR nightmare if you put guys that have some baggage with them in your Hall of Fame. But Terrell Owens, I mean, yeah, he was a bad teammate, but the guy wasn't in a ton of legal trouble through his career. Yeah. And he put up the numbers.
Even on TMZ Sports, they got up with T.O. I think he just got off a flight or something, and they were just interviewing him and stuff. And he's like, honestly, if I don't make it to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, I don't care.
Yeah.
Because honestly, he said I've been in all these other Hall of Fames, even for high school, college, and all this, and then he said I don't really care about this. And then other reporter asked him again, if you would go in, would you go in as a 49er? And then he kind of smiled, looked at him, and said no.
What would he go in as? Because he's definitely not going in as an Eagle.
No, because of that. What was he with them a year and a half or something like that?
Yeah, it kind of.
And I mean, honestly, I feel like he should go in as a Cowboy.
Yeah, I don't know.
If he's not going to go in as a 49er,
yeah,
he should
he's not going as a 49er,
as a Cowboy.
He'd go in as a Cowboy.
Bill.
Bill.
Honestly, I really forgot he was a Bill. I
forgot he was a Bengal.
Yeah.
No, I knew
him and Chad Johnson.
Yeah.
That was a
T.O. show.
That was a talking receiver core there.
Well, and that's the thing is so then there's a guy like Terrell Owens. Does he kind of damper the chances of guys like, I don't know that Chad Johnson's a Hall of Famer. There's people who maybe think he is.
Honestly, I feel like he could.
I think he's on the defense.
Yeah.
But does it kind of damper the chances of guys like Chad Johnson or Steve Smith? I mean, because Steve Smith really
Steve Smith.
Look at why Steve Smith left Carolina. They wanted to go a different direction, and
it's true.
They gave Steve Smith a call when they cut him from Carolina. They did not do it face to face.
I mean, the dude is
for a reason.
Yeah. Well, and there had been a rip between him and Cam Newton.
Yeah.
I mean, and he had been suspended from them before for breaking a dude's jaw in practice in the preseason. So, and I love Steve Smith, but he wasn't exactly teammate of the year material either.
No.
So does that set a precedent? I mean, I think these writers sometimes just get these stupid agendas And
they brainwash people with it.
yeah, and maybe some of it's personal. Maybe it dates back to things that Terrell Owens did during his playing days that rubbed them the wrong way. Fine, there's better ways to go about that than to punish something that should be taken so brilliantly like the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Some other guys who are up for the Hall of Fame this year, Brian Dawkins, Alan Faneca, who I know Caleb over there sent in our group chat that he wanted to see in, Edgerrin James, Ty Law, among others.
Edgerrin James I'm kind of on the fence with because, like,
is he better than Priest Holmes, who's not in the...
No. And that reminds me, there's two running backs that are in the Hall that are not in the Hall of Fame that should be, and one that shouldn't be.
Is it Terrell Davis?
Terrell Davis should not be in the Hall of Fame.
And who's the other running back who should besides Priest Holmes?
Fred Taylor. I mean, you look at the numbers. If Terrell Davis is in the Hall of Fame, why is Fred Taylor not in the Hall of Fame? And
you look at Terrell Davis. I know he was really good, but everyone was good behind that Denver system.
That offensive line was so good.
And every running back who went through that system was really good.
They had like 6 straight years of like 1,000-yard rusher.
Yeah.
And
Shanahan's.
Plus, like, people were like, well, his career was cut short by injuries.
It happens.
That happens. We're supposed to feel sorry for him and vote him into the Hall of Fame because of that? No. I mean, like 70% of his total rushing yards came in that 2-year span. And you look at the guys that had more rushing yards than him that aren't in the Hall of Fame: Stephen Foster, Fred Taylor, Ricky Waters, a lot of really good running backs. Terrell Davis was a good running back. And people were like, oh, well, he led them to a Super Bowl. Yeah, you know who else led his team to a Super Bowl as a running back? Timmy Smith. Do you know who Timmy Smith is? He's not a Hall of Famer.
He also had John Elway as his quarterback. It helps a little bit. I know he was older, but still he had John Elway. So it's interesting to see how some of those guys kind of get in there on that mystique of him playing with the severe migraine in the Super Bowl kind of added to it.
Whoop-de-doo.
I know, but that's what kind of adds to it. And I think Urlacher gets in eventually. I don't think he gets in this year just because of Ray Lewis is the linebacker there. And, of course, John Lynch and Ray Lewis were on two of the best defenses we've ever seen. And to see those two guys definitely deserve to be in there. John Lynch was a really, really good safety. He was a hard-hitting son of a gun. I mean, he was really good. So I want to see him get in because, first of all, it's really hard for a safety to get in. There's a log jam of him right now. And I think he deserves to be in. I mean, he was on a really good defense, and he was the cornerstone of it. So
real quick, my Terrell Davis, Fred Taylor comparison. Terrell Davis, career rushing yards, 7,607. Fred Taylor, 11,695. Career touchdowns, Terrell Davis, 60. Fred Taylor, 66. Terrell Davis was a 3-time Pro Bowler. Fred Taylor was only a 1-time Pro Bowler.
Like, Fred Taylor wasn't as great as Davis was, but he was better for longer. And it's really hard to do that.
I think Taylor was a better running back. Taylor played in Jacksonville.
That's true.
Instead of getting the ball from John Elway and being led by Gary Kubiak, he was getting handoffs from Mark Brunell and Byron Leftwich.
That's pretty good quarterback. That's pretty even. I don't know what you're talking about.
On 7 and 9 teams. He played in 3 postseason games his whole career.
So that's one thing that kind of looks there. If you don't play in the postseason, it's harder for you to get recognized. I know it is dumb.
At a position like a running back, like, how much control do you have on the defense?
On the line in front of you and stuff like that.
Yeah, so. I mean, if a dude's putting up numbers don't lie. Well, sometimes they do.
Yeah. So that's kind of what we have. Any arguments there with the Hall of Fame? I mean, I thought Owen should have got in last year in the first place, so he should.
I think Owen should have got in the first year he was on the ballot.
That was last year, wasn't it?
I think it might have been the year before.
Either way, but yeah, he should already be in.
I think this is like the second or third year.
And Randy Moss is getting in. The Super Bowl is in Minnesota. They're announcing this the day before the Super Bowl. He is getting in. Like, that's gonna happen. Like, the writers love stuff like that. He's getting in.
Yeah, it's weird how they do that.
And Ray Lewis may have killed a couple guys. But you know what? He's a really good linebacker.
Yeah, and I try to tread lightly with that because obviously
that's why I said he might have.
Whatever happened there, you have to realize that it did end up costing the lives of 2 people. But at the same time, he was acquitted of the murder charges. So,
yeah,
technically he didn't do it. So you can't hold that against him. And plus,
technically OJ didn't do it either.
Yeah, technically OJ. And that's it. Like they didn't pull OJ. But they didn't pull OJ out of the Hall of Fame after all that stuff. And really, it's the same situation at this point because neither one of them were convicted. If they don't let Ray Lewis in because of that, that is stupid. Definitely is a guy that was an ambassador for the sport in the league for as long as he was.
And Ray Lewis was the cornerstone of one of the best defenses we've ever seen in 2000 with the Ravens. That defense was so good. And and he was a really good middle linebacker. The one thing I do remember though is whenever the Chiefs O-line was picking on him on Monday Night Football, and he kept getting pancaked. That was great. He was crying about it. That was terrific.
I think
he's
what
still great.
hurts John Lynch,
Chiefs
however,
fans.
though,
I am petty, but you know what? He deserved it. So.
I think what hurts John Lynch, however, though, is when you look at those early 2000s Buck defenses, you already have
Derek Brooks
is in the Hall of Fame. Warren Sapp is in the Hall of Fame. You can make an argument that Rondé Barber should be in the Hall of Fame. You can make an argument that Simeon Rice has a legit argument at being in the Hall of Fame.
that defense was so good.
I mean, at what point do you go, okay, 5 Hall of Famers, that's enough? I think John Lynch's the Hall of Famer.
Yeah. I think he's the last one from that defense that gets in.
I think Rondé Barber can maybe get in.
It's close. He played for a long time in the league.
Yeah.
It was good for a long time. So, I don't know. Hall of Fame talk's always really good. So it's going to get announced Saturday.
Saturday evening, it'll be part of the NFL awards show. I don't know the exact start time on that.
Did you see Kamara got the Pepsi Rookie of the Year?
Did he?
Yes. Dumb.
Yeah, he was more of a dual threat back.
Dumb.
The NFL Honor Show. It's on NBC because that is who.
Okay, Kareem Hunt led the league in rushing. I don't want to hear it. Okay,
It'll
that's
be
not me having my
6
blinders on.
The NFL Honor Show will be at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I don't know why it's showing Pacific Standard Time because
Was
we're
that
in
4 here?
No, it'd be 8 here.
8 here?
Yeah, because it's 2 hours behind us.
Yep.
So
Whatever.
yeah, not 2 hours ahead of us.
I don't care.
Oh, good old Missouri math.
Shut up, Iowa.
Yeah,
You sure?
I'm sure.
Maybe the same thing in Iowa too.
but I got it right.
Okay.
Live math, man. It's
Yeah.
not
There's
great.
a reason. For those of you listening that enjoyed our on-air math, there's a reason why we're here. And
Yeah,
not
I was
doing
actually good in
something.
math when I was
I
younger.
wasn't.
I was very good.
I was good
I
at math.
excelled.
All you guys say that, but you're still here.
Well, because I like to talk sports, okay? And there's a lot of stats in sports that I really enjoy. And Kramer's a baseball dude.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
all baseball dudes are in.
I enjoy math
entrenched in
because of
math.
that. Exactly.
I mean, if you start diving into this baseball stats, you won't leave for centuries.
Yeah. No.
I mean, there's a lot of
we
numbers.
got to talk about something on air, don't we? That's
Yeah.
the best thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what's going on here? Why? Okay, Caleb. Why do you say Juju Smith-Schuster in the chat? I don't understand why that's in my
Offensive
chat.
rookie of the year. No.
Why? No. Get out of
To
here
me,
with that.
I think you can
garbage.
make a legit argument that Kamara's offensive rookie of the year.
I mean,
think you
Kamara's
can.
decent. I mean,
me,
Fournette
it's-
would be over Juju Smith-Schuster.
Yeah, there's a handful of guys that might be over Juju Smith-Schuster.
Deshaun Watson played like 6 games and he's over Juju.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong.
Get out of here with that Steeler nonsense.
Yeah. Blinders. The blinders, man. Can't see anything.
Jeez. Anyways, as long as Philly doesn't blow a huge Super Bowl lead, I'll be fine in the game on Sunday. If that happens
even
again,
care. Like, I honestly, I don't even hate New England anymore. Like, is it sad that it's to that point where you're just like,
you may be desensitized
Nah.
to it. I'm not.
I remember when I was a kid, I hated New England.
I'm the same exact way.
And now, now it's to the point where I'm just like, you know what? Like, at some point, you have to sit back and just respect what they've done.
Yeah,
'Cause we're never.
I
gonna
can
see
respect
that.
it. I can still hate it, though.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm the same with Alabama. Like, I don't even hate Alabama anymore. Like 5 years ago, I did.
Okay, that's right where I am. It is this year. You're just watching Tom Brady, and you're just going. You've disliked New England so long. You just have to sit back and go. These guys are incredible. This team should not be this good when you look at that roster. And to look at New England, you just have to sit back and go, okay, Bill Belichick, okay, Tom Brady, you guys are the best.
Yeah, their coaching's insane there. And what they do scheme-wise to get either on offensively to get matchups they want or defensively to cover up their weak spots. It's insane how well they are, how well they scheme all that, and it's frustrating.
I just want to see a good game.
I just
I'm there
want to
with you.
see Fletcher Cox clothesline Tom Brady in the pocket and
See,
send
I
him to retirement.
don't even care about that. Like,
I do.
there
That's
was-
one thing I want more than anything else in that Super Bowl.
There was a point last year in the Super Bowl, and part of it may have been because I had made a wager with Evan Brown on the game.
SoundCloud Jesus.
Yeah, that I was rooting. Like, when they got down 28-3, I was kind of rooting for New England. Just because I was like 25-point comeback in the Super Bowl, we've never seen that before, and I'm a fan
I
of that.
could have
stuff.
went my whole life without seeing that with Tom Brady doing it.
Like, and that's just maybe where I'm different. Like, I don't care about that. Like, I root for my team, and then aside from Pittsburgh and Denver, like, other than that, I'll root for anybody else. Like, that's my favorite part about the Chiefs not ever being like that good to be in the Super Bowl is because if the Chiefs ever make the Super Bowl, like, I will be a nervous wreck that whole day. And my girlfriend's one that always wants to go to these parties and eat food and socialize with people. And if the Chiefs are in the Super Bowl, I'm going to want to like sit in a dark room and drink all day and sit and not want to watch the commercials or anything because they'll be throwing me off the game. And heaven forbid it's a blowout because I don't know how I would handle that. Or if they lose in heartbreaking fashion.
This Sunday.
Which would be totally a Chief thing to do.
Oh,
anyways.
Yeah. It's not a new way to lose.
This Sunday, if it were to be something like it's 21-3, the Eagles up, and it happens again, just honestly, how crazy and awesome would that be? I know but if New England was to do something like that again.
See, I called the one last year.
Yes, you did, our group chat, and I was so mad at you for calling it.
When
I'm like, dude, let someone else be happy.
When Atlanta went up 28-3, Evan messaged me and informed me that he had won the bet. And I was like, there's still like 11 and a half minutes to go in the third quarter. And I said, guys, if there's one guy that's going to come back and crush the hearts of America, might have been a couple other words involved in there. It's going to be Tom Brady. Let's face it. I was like, Patriots going to come back.
I can't stand that. That's going to be it for us today. We're going to cut it short a little bit today, but I feel like it was a pretty good show. 3 hours of good content for you guys here on the Weekend Sports Kickoff. Thank you for tuning in to the Weekend Sports Kickoff. If you want to watch other episodes, click right here. Point this way. So right here. And then for more KNWT content, make sure you click here. Point to bottom right. So right down here. So make sure you click there to the links for more KNWT content. Thank you very much for watching.